And then today I had a really fun surf at crew left, like not a drop of water out of position. And yeah, small but fun, still the odd little barrel if you happen to get the right one.
Welcome back to the Insiders. It's Matt here again. You just heard a little clip from a good friend of mine called Alex, who has just moved to Sumatra, and he decides to send me voice notes like that. And I thought I'd share that with you guys because it's kind of funny how the other half live, I guess. But he's worked hard. But that was Alex in Sumatra. If you want details of his villa where you can go and stay and surf Curry lefts with barrels or other places, hit us up. This isn't a paid advert or anything. He's just a friend, but we can help sort that out. And this is our episode on the final five. So this is me and Darren diving right in.
So, Matthew, final five, finals day, blah, blah, blah. I think we already spoke about Fiji, which we thought was a little bit of an anticlimax. I've had a bit of a research into, obviously, you will have too, if I know you. Surfline. Honestly, at the moment, if you're a betting man, you'd call that run the opening day. Are you of the same opinion?
Yeah, I was looking at it earlier, and yeah, I mean, because the opening day is Saturday, isn't it?
The sixth.
Oh, Friday, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, you can't really see it going any further than the Friday or the Saturday. That's what I was looking at, the 6th or the 7th. But the Friday,
After it goes small.
yeah. Um, yeah. And I mean, on my surf line, it's saying like 3 to 4 foot. So I don't think it's going to be.
It's a year of anticlimaxes, and it'll be finalized with the anticlimax of anticlimaxes. Potentially. If the surfing's good, the surfing's good.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And um, yeah, it's one of those where it's not looking at the forecast, it's not lit a fire under me to set an alarm or make sure it's not missed. I mean, I won't miss it. I will watch it, obviously.
Two,
But
2 second response time question. Would you rather they have the finals five or a year-round title race? Yes or no?
I would,
Or
yes or no, as
finals
in
day or year-round?
year round.
Okay, so would I. I think finals five could be a great specialty event in the middle of the year for 100 grand, winner takes all.
Yeah, and I think it should be the end of the season rolling event, like do it top five, so you don't need a big crew. And they should be looking right now at where in the world has got a swell next weekend and heading there. It should be like a mobile thing and have the money all sewn up. And I think it's the one thing of the year that they should try introducing to charge for it. Like that way they can pump the money up as well.
Yeah. I think it's a weird sort of mindset thinking that they think this is where needs surfing will build, because it seems to me that it's just going reverse.
Well,
Instead of creating all this buzz, it's reverse buzzing.
yeah, I mean for me, the way I see it, I was gonna ask you about this. Like John is the world champ, basically. Like you look at his year, you look at the stats.
Not really, not really. Griff's only 5,000 points behind him. If there was another event there and you had throwaways, he might beat him.
Well,
And if it
yeah.
was a normal year, there'd be more events.
Well, exactly my point
People
though.
have been ahead like John before and caught.
I completely agree. And my point on it is if they had one more event that wasn't the final five, um, firstly, would John have surfed a bit differently in Fiji?
Yeah,
And
maybe.
secondly, you've still got a title race going. If Trestles was a normal event, you've got John going into Trestles needing to still outdo Griff, and you've got Griff chasing, and then you've got people playing for third and fourth and fifth and sixth and stuff. And there's probably more storylines than what we currently have, which is a lot of talk about the forecast, and then kind of you've just got like, yeah, you've just got. I just think back to the first 2 years of the Final Five, and other than the Steph Gilmore storyline, it's been pretty bland.
They don't do it in Formula One. They don't do it in Formula One. That's what that they tried to emulate with their
Yeah.
box to box television series because Formula One, which is just a whole bunch of uh, incredibly privileged, wealthy companies uh, grabbing kids out of the box part from uh, good old Hamilton.
Well,
But you know what
yeah.
I mean? They're not doing it. They're not going to say, "Hey, next year, let's just do this." Because, for example, now we got 5 months without watching any of the other riders anyway,
Mm,
and
yeah.
okay, like we flogged this to a dead horse. Let's actually go. Where do you want to start? Let's say I'm introducing new format to this map. I could have texted you, but I love putting you on the spot. You know that. Okay, instead of anything else, who's going to be fifth in the women?
Women, fifth
Fifth place.
is going to be uh is Tatiana versus Molly first, isn't it?
That's what I recall.
I think Molly is finishing fifth in the women's.
You don't think she's got a win, a heat win in her at Trestles after basically a pretty lackluster year, apart from height, which was not lackluster.
Yeah, Piper
She's up
one.
against Tatiana. I think Tatiana can take her as well. I'm gonna agree with you on that one. What,
Okay,
what do you,
so
what do you, what do you think of if there was a free surfing edit coming out tomorrow? Would you back Molly or would you back Taddy?
I've heard of free surfing it. Probably Molly because
How?
probably Molly because she'll take on waves that are slightly more engaging.
You sure? Tati seems to fucking charge, man. She's no
Yeah,
J smashing best wave of the year. Was it that she got at Chopu? Was that? I
yeah.
don't think
The 10 at Chopes was mental.
not my favorite surfer, but she's committed.
Yeah. Um, and I think Molly looks a little bit weird in waves of where she's not trying to get tubed. So, um,
That I think she's got one of the best coaches in modern history.
Mike, do you really? I'm not sure.
Okay, you don't have to be sure. We're not here to agree with each other.
Who do you think's finishing fifth in the men's?
Fifth in the men's. This is one I've procrastinated. I'm going to say Italo, but I really think I can have a go in my face.
Yeah, Islo,
Just think first. I just think first view of Ethan is so impressive, which is going to work against him. Is so impressive that judges and surfers generally lose their biscuits from one incredible lead and turn. And I don't think no matter what Italo can do, unless it's just like the bull tearing hell air, which he will, can match a cleanly put together way Ethan wave, which I think are you agreeing he's the best style in history?
I completely agree with literally everything you just said there. Is I think like literally to the point of I think Ethan will look incredible, and I think his variation will let him down later in the day. But I
I
think
saw him. I saw him on Instagram do this. I don't know how I saw it. Do this w- wonderful. I'm looking for new adjectives. Wonderful air.
yeah, he's got it. He's got it in the locker.
I
It's
wonder if he's been working on it in the sly, on the sly.
potentially. So I'm agreeing with you. I think Ethan will beat Italo.
It could really be egg on the face because Italo's Funny as a world champ. He
To
lost
to
to
save
Slater. It's just gnarly.
to save the egg on my face, I'm gonna make a big call here. If Italo beats Ethan, Italo is world champ.
Oh,
That's my big call. So that would mean then that for the women, it would be Tatiana versus Brisa Hennessy.
mm.
And I think
I
Tati beats
Priest
her.
has got it. I think Priest has had a pretty good year.
Oh, I
She's
think
got
Tati
a
beats her.
fantastic frontside whack, and maybe she's just got a little bit of that confidence rolling. And I don't think Tats can reproduce the wow factor twice,
Okay.
unless it's overhead. And I don't think it's going to be overhead. You've said I didn't say it for the girls, by the way. I think I have a feeling Molly can take her, but let's
Oh, apologies. Okay,
see.
so
Yeah,
if
that's right. I think I'm waiting.
what okay, so in that
Your
instance,
call.
if Molly beats Tati, who do you think wins out of Molly and Brisa?
Brisa.
Okay, see, I'm gonna back Tati for two in a row and then lose. So I think Tati will beat Molly and Brisa.
And so we're
Um,
on that side where Tats and Brees. Let's go back to Les Hommes, the mech, the boys, the
the
men.
Gators.
And now we've entered the fantastic foursome Caucasians. The
Mm.
streams, it feels all a little
So
bit
we've
weird,
entered
doesn't it?
we've
Two
entered
He's the superstar darling from California, and the
no,
howling blonde Hawaiian.
we've entered the stage of what's it called? Blue on blue fire for
Blue
you
on blue. Wasp.
because
Wasp.
it's you said we both said Ethan beats Italo, so
Okay,
that
so it's
that
it's
means
Ethan Jack.
yeah.
And I really don't think Jack can take him, but I think he will give him a better run this year. And he'll go to the air first wave, maybe first maneuver.
So you're saying who wins?
Ethan.
I'm going Jack Robbo wins it.
Yeah, and I really think that's a good call. I think he's the fucking best comp surfer on tour,
I hear you completely, and I do
which is
agree.
crazy because he was just the wonder child from the West and everything, and he's transformed himself into the best comp surfer ever. Like at the moment, not better than Kelly, but like just clutch. Michael
Yeah,
Jordan, 3-pointer in the last 3 seconds. Jack can do it, and he can do
yeah.
it against Ethan. He could.
I think Jack's going to beat him.
He can go left too. There, he can go left and do some sort of
Hmm.
thing he might do.
Sticking on the men's then before we jump back across. So that means that it's Griffin against Ethan for you and Jack for me.
I
Uh,
don't think Ethan can win the title because what happened last year, and Toledo's what he did was good, but I think if Ethan had done something different, we already talked about that in previous heats, and then unleashed a couple of those Hercules turns in the final, it would have been a different story. But okay, sorry. Griff. I think Griff's got a final in him here.
yeah, me too. I think Griff beats Jack Robbo. I
So do
think
I.
I think
Let's
Griff's the one
go.
person who I think Jack has got this kind of competitive kind of edge over John, and I think Griffin kind of has it over Jack. But
I just don't know if Jack's got the necessary tools to win the job at Trestles. Imagine tonight, Merlin, the famous magician from the Lancelot and Arthur days, came in and gave Jack Mick Fanning's frontside calf.
yeah,
Then you'd say, okay, because
yeah,
Trestles, you know what I mean? He doesn't have that yet.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I agree. I think
He's got
Griff.
the hard, he's got the critical, he's got the not ready for it stuff, but he doesn't have that like that's got that open canvas where there's two sections where you can do that carve, which Kelly
Yeah,
used to do too.
yeah. I listened to I can't remember where I saw it, but it was Griffin talking, and he said last year he went pretty heavy on like PR obligations. Like he's
Yeah, I had that. I had
um
that. What was
and
that?
I think it's quite cool that he's kind of learning from it, and I think he might come in like kind of a little bit less amped up and a little bit less like Matthew McConaughey doing talk ups of him and stuff.
That podcast it was what's his face?
Oh yeah,
Stacey
that's it.
maybe with him at the
Yeah.
bar. In Fiji.
Um, that's the one. So I think yeah, I'm backing Griff.
You'd be nuts to not just go fully underground. If I was, I'm not him, obviously. That he
Yeah.
could have rung me. I would have told him to whip up to, I don't know, like where Dane lives or somewhere away from Trestles. Like, he surfed it enough.
Yeah, 100. I was
Tom
literally about to
Kelly.
say that. It's
Let
like,
Tom Curran do a Michael Peterson disappear.
yeah, that's what Jay Buttle Thompson done with Morgs. The year Morgs was in it,
Yeah.
he was like that. He took him up into the mountains and stuff, didn't he? Which was quite
Yeah, he
cool.
should have. He surfed enough. Take him up to Malibu. Something like
Yeah,
that. Where he surfs, no one, like, there's so many people in the water anyway, they don't really even recognize him.
yeah. So then, women's side, that would leave for you Brisa versus Caroline, and for
I
me,
think back
Tatty
to this
versus.
part, sorry.
Oh yeah, yeah, gone.
I think unfortunately for Griff and surf fans, whatever, that him and his little 1.6% crew, they're just too much into the brotherhood of backslapping and everything that he can't walk away from having that little crew self accolades for the whole
Mm.
week where they're just all team loving and sitting in pastures pretending that what they're actually doing is like some sort of Gandhi stuff where if you did do that you'd actually just go up to the mountains with Nepal without a telephone.
Yeah, I
I mean,
actually.
it's so visible, all the stuff that they do, that he's got to be there doing it with them.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like on tour, after the cut, where it was just Griffin, Crosby, and Cole Houshman, and where they weren't really in America and other places, they dialed it down, and it's been to their benefit. On the 2% stuff where it's not as loud and as crazy as it is. And I do worry that going back to Trestles is just going to be unbelievably over the top. And when they start like wooing in each other's faces and stuff, you just want to slap the shit out of all of them. And you know you could,
Off what I'm watching.
but
It's the best
um,
thing you can do, not watching. At
yeah,
least if you're trying to watch a fucking
yeah.
final.
But so yeah, I do think that it's a bit
So we're both saying it's Griff
detrimental.
John final.
Yeah,
We're back to the ladies now. So we're back to Brisa against
Marksy.
no Caroline Marks.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah,
Brisa or Tati against Caroline Marks, and I think Caroline Marks has got them both
me too.
in her bag.
In third
Oh,
gear.
pretty good season. Olympic gold medalist, wasn't she?
She's sick. Yeah, Olympic gold medalist. Yeah.
Seems to be a little bit more a piece of herself. Physically, she's doing the job. Back on. Wow, it's going to be hard to not see her as a two-time world champ, but we'll get to that.
She's
I'm going
sick.
on.
Yeah, I think Caroline wins it in third gear. I really, really like Caroline. I like how she carries herself. I like how she surfs. I feel like she's the opposite of what we just said about Griff as well. She flies pretty low under the radar for someone
I think
who's
she didn't charge hard enough this year, and then I think you think, fuck, she's only 19, and like how much exposure has she had to all these places, and she still did good at those places, which
yeah,
is what
she
Gabrielle did in his early years. So she's got a lot of room to move.
she's still charged in chopes as well, both times.
There's no one on tour, for example, like her, that is as good on their forehand as backhand. Do you think? I mean, Carissa was, and apart
Mhm.
from
in men's and
Women's.
women's. Yeah, I agree fully.
Can you
That
remember what she does backside, Brisa? I think she's all right. She's pretty good.
no, I think
Not like Caroline, who's like
whenever,
top next level backside.
yeah.
Still really good front side.
The only one is I think Katie Simmers' backside is really good.
Yeah,
I
we
think
haven't got to her yet, bro.
no, but in answer to your question for the other
Yeah,
bit is
I answered it.
I do think that Katie frontside and backside is really good.
But we haven't got to that. Back to the men's then. Oh no, let's finish the women's then. Okay, let's finish the
Yeah.
women's. We're mesogenic. Hey, if two women out there want to do a podcast and do it, you can finish with the women. You can finish with the women. Okay, I'm inviting you. I don't
Hey,
think
we
there's.
just we just we just like women finishing first, Daz.
I
We're
think there's any. I don't think there's two more equal opportunity podcasters out there than us on air in the world at the moment in any sport. So show me some proof, listeners, and then we'll finish with the women. So Katie, I'm going Katie this time. Sorry.
right. Look, this is my time to catch you on the fence. You're saying Katie, but what's the score?
I'm not
Two
going
nil.
scores. I'm not going scores. I'm going to keep it cagey. I just think somehow
I mean, as in the heats. Does she win two off the bat? Does it go 1-0
three,
Caroline?
it's two out of three. Can she do it?
Okay.
I wonder. She had that clutch moment at Bell's earlier this year. Uh, she's slow on her front side. You remember I always used to, and not criticize the judges because they were giving her kid points.
Mm,
But I still think it was going to happen because she's so young. Well, she's not really now because now they've got Aaron coming in behind her. And I wonder if she doesn't win this, if Aaron can go straight on the tour and win first year. She nearly could if she gets a bit bigger. But I'm wondering if Caroline can do it two in a row with like if it's 4 foot, I think Katie can get air.
mm. I think Katie's going to win it, and I think she might win it with a couple of airs.
I was gonna thought you were gonna say, and then I was thinking, I think she might win with the left.
And I also, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see her go left. Like her backhand turns are so like
Yeah, that's why I didn't let you bring that up
vertical.
before because I think the same thing. People used to say that, but she goes vert and she busts the fins, and she
Yeah,
does like Ethan Ewing, Tom Curran, Mick Fanning, Oki. She's in that group of freaks where they can go left and right and they can do it with style which doesn't look forced,
yeah,
which is maybe why Italo doesn't get the accolades that he probably could because he looks a bit forced.
yeah. And the other main thing I think with the list of names you gave and Katie against someone like Italo is they have a variation on their backside turns where they can do like a vertical backside snap, but also like a backside carve
Mm.
and like and kind of fin drifts that whereas Italo, when you see Italo go to his backside, he's literally just double repeat, like copy and paste. So yeah, I think Katie's going to take the women's world title this year, and I think she fully
It'd
deserves it.
be it'd be pretty cool. But
Yeah.
let's see. I can only see Caroline beating her. And for some reason my head's telling me that she's not gonna be two times. But like she could, huh?
100%. I
I think
think,
last year, if she does 8 backhand Rios in a row, I just don't know if it holds the same power now.
mm,
If you've done it once, okay, you can get away with it. I think trying to do that twice, she'd have to do like backside variations, which
yeah, that's the thing I worry about is I
you
worry about
think
like, the Ethan Ewing thing with Caroline is
same,
if,
same.
if she rolls in she has one heat against say Brees or a Tatty, goes just backside vert, like wins the heat, great. then does it the same against Katie, and then the judges see something new from Katie, they're going to reward that, and then she tries again, and it's like the third heat in a row where it's quite repetitive. So
Is
yeah,
it wrong? Is it wrong, for example, that if Ethan's doing the best surfing you've ever seen, that can't get judged because someone does? For example, I re-looked at a lot of those waves he did last year, Filippo, and okay, Felipe. He did that spinning. He's got that spinning frontside air, but I don't think it
I
holds much power as those two turns he did against Griff.
in answer to your question about it is I
The
only think
technique and level of tech. I don't know.
yeah, I think it should all only come into play in the same heat. So if in the 30 minutes Ethan does catches a wave and on every wave he does the same first turn, same second turn, same end turn, I think the first one gets an 8, the second one gets a 7, the third one gets a 6. But like all of the judges say, like each heat needs to be judged as a new heat because like at the end of the day, the waves are different in an hour's time because there's an hour's gap and things like that. Like he can't be penalized for being able to be that consistent. I just think in the same heat, if you're doing the same turn over and over and over and over again, that's when for me the judges can put a lid on it, but not heat to heat, definitely not. Should
I
be
can't see him winning without going air, and then I can't see there being noise saying his airs are overscored because he doesn't
yeah,
usually, as opposed to some of the dudes that do airs are like getting high scores, even though their airs aren't really that. Like
yeah,
there's airs that immediately you say they're pretty good. Like,
yeah.
Talo's things that he does are that reckless. Like, I don't blame him throwing scores at him.
Sometimes for sure. I just hate it when he pumps down the line for 30 seconds
Section.
and then does it.
Yeah, well, it depends on the section, doesn't it? I mean, if
Yeah.
he's doing a critical out the back section straight away, yeah. If he's pumped the whole way to do on the inside, but we'll soon see.
Yeah. So then that means
Hey,
men's final showdown.
men's
John
final
versus Griff.
showdown, John Griff. We could be wrong, but I mean, we got one of them right. John's in it.
Yeah. Um, I'll go first. I think John will win it.
I think John will win it.
It's interesting to think that John has been working on a surfboard. He developed a board in the off season not last year, the year before, to make trestles last year.
Is it turquoise tiger?
It's Red Tiger.
Okay, he said red
Um,
tiger, white tiger, every colored tiger there is, it's red tiger. Okay.
Red Tiger is the board for trestles. The White Tiger is like a grobbler. But
Not a
he
turquoise tiger.
there's not such a thing, but there is a Power Tiger now as well. But
Sunburn tiger.
he's been developing this board for almost 2 years for this wave. He was
He's
at
got a
Trestles.
low to medium entry rocker
Yeah,
with a single to double concave and a slight
V.
uh, tweaked uh, rocker out through the back of the fins.
Yeah, and he's
Squash tail,
yeah,
loaded rails,
squash
uh,
tail
comp,
and
comp light.
the fin positioning was one of the kind of key parts on it.
So similar sort of high-tech shortboard that they've been riding for the last 15 years, and John developed it in the last 18
Yeah,
months.
if you want to check it out, I actually did an interview with John Pizell, which is on YouTube, but not
I
on
don't
our
think it's
channel.
anything new. I think
Um,
it's probably something good for him.
he had like 48 boards made and tested within a month, a couple of years ago now, and it was quite funny because
That's not
I
that's
remember
not to be snuffed at.
no, I remember starting that, having that conversation and then having a conversation with someone else, going, imagine you went to all that effort and you don't actually make the final five, and then he didn't make the final five.
What did he do with the 47 boards?
No,
Did
he
he
probably
keep one of them?
yeah, I mean, I'm sure he kept a few of them, but
Got
they
sold out of the sugar factory there in Halieb.
probably kept a few, gave a few away, signed a few for corporate. Uh,
Sold a couple, $1,200 a board.
yeah,
Signed John board.
exactly. But no, I think John's going to win it. But I think he's going to lose the first heat and then win two on the bounce.
Gonna win it on big hacks or variation air, finish at one wave. Can't see John.
Both.
I called it last year, remember? Or started the year with, like everyone did. You can always praise yourself by saying he won because I called it. I just think there was a couple of edits he put out, Rocky Rights, which showed that he can do everything. I
Yeah.
mean, that's not a shit wave, Trestles. It's a hard wave to surf, apparently, compared to from Phipsy's word of mouth. If you're not really, really good, because instead of pushing onto your front side, it seems to back away, which probably is why Kelly and Mick won out there so successfully because they're so technically advanced that they can hold their speed.
And
But
Steph.
I think John can do that too.
Yeah. My only worry is that when I look at the forecast for the Friday and the Saturday, it gets weaker and smaller as the day progresses. So the weaker and smaller it gets, the more I think Griff comes into play.
1.2 meters. I saw it 13 seconds. Let's go to the videotape. Okay, well, John in three for Matt and John in three for me too, because I think Griff's got one win there.
Yeah. I think Griff is going to win it and win the first one and get a bit overexcited. And then John's going to win the second one. And then Griff's going to start panicking. Like he's just got a bit of, I would just say Griff's got a little bit of Tottenham about him where they look great early. And then,
Spurs.
yeah, Tottenham Hotspurs,
Spurs, I don't know anything about them, so it's good that I exaggerated that.
they're
I just think they've got a great name.
just a bit like melty, like a bit like they look good and you could put some money on them to do good and then they'll just fuck things up because they're Tottenham. Um,
A little bit like Medina. Is that what we're saying? I'm trying to
no,
go.
no, 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 no. Tottenham are not like
I don't
Medina.
think I've got. Nah, I don't have me. Do I have? I don't know if I've got my passwords on. Oh, yes, I do. Sign in. Sign in. I saw it this morning. It looked like 1 point whatever. Trestles. Everyone out there, if you don't have Surfline, good on you to start with. Hey, because you
I, I don't know if I'd say good on you. I don't know what I'd do
you're like a
without it.
surf geek and you just go down to the beach in the morning because you're a multi-millionaire and your window's overlooking the ocean. You don't have to do like the rest of us plebs.
Are you angling at Christian Bradley? This is the only.
Friday,
I don't know.
Friday the 6th. We're still looking at this. 0.9 to 1.4 meters. What's that? 4 foot. 0.6 at 15 seconds with fairly good winds until noon, light onshore. So the morning they'll go all right. The afternoon, 6 p.m. that is. It's already done by 6 p.m. Port to fair. And then the next day is smaller,
Yeah,
zero point 0.8 at 13 seconds, or is it? Oh, no. Is it? Is it? Is it?
yeah, yeah.
0.7 at 15. Is that bigger than 0.8 at 13? And then the rest of the week dribbles down to point. It's on Friday, man.
Yeah,
Only 5 days out.
yeah.
I think Trestles is that sort of place like that's traditionally it's California. They have that good of weather and it's still summer.
Mm.
Thank you, WSL, for fucking putting it right in the smack of summer. Northern Hemisphere summer. God, they're idiots.
Yeah. You just can't really. I wonder
I
what
would have not heard them to then come to France, do a comp here like the when the Quick Festival's on, huh? And then go back there to
well,
Trestles. Adds one more event. Gets. I don't even want them here.
do you know
What
what
that?
do you
Where
know
else
what I
is
don't know?
they could go?
So next year is going to be at Cloudbreak, and I thought, oh, this morning I was like, well, I'll have a quick look at what it'd be like if they were having it at Cloudbreak this year at that time.
Yeah, and
On Friday, Cloudbreak is 8 to 10 foot at 14 seconds.
I'm having a look. Oh, yeah, it must be because my mate told me today that Kingy, this other mate of mine, has just gone there. I think he said he'd just gone there because let's have a look. Quick fly out from Sunny Coast, where it's 1 foot in Haggis to what do we have? 2.4 meters.
Yeah,
First day of it. Yeah. And even if they didn't do that day and they went to 1.2, like 10 times better than the comp, isn't it?
exactly. So maybe that's good signs for next year.
Maybe it's a good sign
Um,
for next year.
yeah, we'll have
John,
to.
John. So we don't want to have a big episode here, people. We're going to drop this in the next 2 days. We're probably going to drop something else later in the week, closer to the comp on other stuff like incoming news of like Donald Trump's going to the comp or something like that. But we're looking at insiders picks. John in 3, Caddy Simmons in 2 for me, Caddy Simmons in 3 for Matt. We're pretty well tick and tack picking the same thing, but what are you going to say? I think Caroline Marks. And if
Well,
you had $100, throw it on Itala.
yeah, well, yeah. So our top five is John, Griff. I'm saying Jack. You're saying Ethan. Then the other way round, and then Italo, and then we're saying Katie, Caroline. I'm saying Tatty. You're saying Brisa. Then
Real
I'm saying
Breeze.
Brisa. You're saying Tatty, and
Molly,
then
fifth.
you're more. Yeah. So, but yeah. So my wild call is
Wonder
if
if,
it beats
wonder if Molly
Ethan.
makes the final. She just gets on a roll and starts popping airs and surfing how she could.
So is that
Anyway,
your wild
I think we
call?
should have
So
said that before.
we got 1 minute left. I'm saying if Italo beats Ethan in the first heat of the day, he wins the world title. What's your wild call? Could be anything.
Paddy wins.
You're calling Tatty wins. Fair, I like it. And we'll do a thing that the winner, if any of those, if one of those happens and the other doesn't,
Wild call is that Matt sends me 15 SMSs that he can't stand listening to Kaipo.
that's just gonna happen. 15's probably really accurate as well. Um, the other thing I think will happen is I think Kelly will show up and
Commentate.
try and commentate, but just talk about
Take your shirt off.
talk about old heats about him. So he will just make it all about him as much as he possibly can.
Okay. Okay. So I got a quick shout out to all you surfing fathers or mothers. And I'm not saying people should have kids or anything. I'm just giving you the absolute salute because there's nothing more challenging for a parent after a massive day at work when they get home with a slightly hyperactive child, and most kids are, and have to whack out a couple of hours of sport and feel bad if you don't do it, and even tighter if you do it. It's just that's true grit in surfing. I'm living it to the max at the moment, and good on you surfing parents. You all deserve a massive medal.
Good on you. Well, we'll see what happens, and we'll let you get your rest then, Daz.
Yeah, thanks, Simple, for wetsuits.